From our side, we sort of speak to companies looking to hire their first marketer, and a word that they commonly use is self-starter when they're talking about what somebody should be like. And a lot of cases that effectively kind of means onboarding yourself. Then was that the case for you, and kind of what did you do to sort of get yourself up to speed?
No, so luckily, I love the word self-starter, and that actually probably applies to me, but luckily I didn't have to start things from scratch, I have to say. So even though I was the first marketing hire, and that hiring happened like 6 months after they launched the product, they had all the foundations in place. So they had worked with an external consultant who's actually a good friend of mine who recommended me to talk to Otto in the first place. And they had this like small internal marketing team that consists of our product manager, designer, CEO, a couple of developers and so on, who were like all doing different things that they knew how to do because, well, the benefit is that we're making a product for software engineering teams. So naturally, software engineers are pretty good at, marketing that stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to start from scratch. And the other thing is that I had a lot of help in onboarding. I'm one of those people who like prefers to almost do some of it myself, like just read a bunch of stuff, ask a ton of questions, listen to gong calls, go in and like do all this like discovery work. I really enjoy that stuff. But what Otto and I agreed from the get-go was that I would spend approximately like 50% of my days studying and like onboarding, and then the other 50 contributing to things that I could already do. And they're not the same things that I do today necessarily. They're just things that are easy to, like proofreading, editing, just writing landing pages based off of interviewing my teammates, analyzing what our competitors are doing, like stuff that I'm used to doing because I used to work as a consultant for these exact same types of companies. So B2B SaaS scale-ups. Yeah. And it's funny how like that outsider's view is actually good for you in the beginning. You lose it really quickly, but once you lose it, you realize that you're fully onboarded and you're like drinking the Kool-Aid and sucked into the product. So that's funny about it.
And how prescriptive were they on goals and outcomes and stuff like that? Was it fairly open in terms of a sort of blank sheet of paper that you kind of knew what you were there to do, but actually you were setting up some of that sort of stuff then, or were they? Yeah.
So I think I knew going in that like our pipeline wasn't the strongest in terms of sales when I started. So we were like, okay, lead gen is probably where we start. Although we did have a funny like kind of misalignment in that, because for me, if you're a startup that nobody knows, lead gen isn't your biggest bottleneck. It's actually brand awareness. Like you can't fix the lead gen problem before people know that you exist. And I look at it from two sides. So there's like demand gen, which is like all the brand awareness stuff. And like basically everything you do in marketing is demand gen. But then there's demand capture, which is like, search ads and like more direct response channels. So I think like pretty quickly we realized that we need to go big on like paid search and stuff like that. And our main KPIs has always been like pretty close to the business. So marketing generated qualified leads and pipeline. So we never that's a good thing about starting at a startup is that you get to define these things yourself. So we never went into the like MQL hamster wheel of let's gate all this content and, try to nurture these people down a rabbit hole of a funnel and like try to force a funnel where there is no funnel. So that's one good thing about like not having any of that marketing legacy in the company.